The face-off between human and environment is not a new phenomena, but it's a regular. Given that human possess a considerable intellect, so that there is a tendency among human beings that they desire for timing everything that present around themselves. If we try to navigate the idea of this face-off between humans and environment, it's something we can maybe better understand through the spectrum of geography, wherein the geographers of earlier age, they of that opinion that the forces of nature are the greatest, and so that human had not such capability to contain that forces. But later on, the pioneer geographers like Strabo, who was a great Greek philosopher and geographer, who came up with the idea that humans have a considerable intellect and capability so that they can even tame the forces of nature. So that very idea of Strabo that brought about a revolutionary change in the mindset of human, so that they embarked into the journey of face off or contending every authority, including the forces of nature. And in this present era, we can see the various repercussions and aftermaths we can witness or witnessing even a day that around the world. So very rightly, as we have seen or understood that how that face-off is not a regular thing, is absolutely a regular phenomena in present era. The thing with what we are going to deal about today is Joshimath subsidence. This news is not a news, but it's a something the entire country and the worlds are they looking upon. Given that Joshimath, one of the religious and hill station in the state of Uttarakhand, has been a very pivotal role in the belief system of Indians, as well as for the geology, geographers, and various stakeholders. This news has been in the spotlight because recently the people of Joshimath or the area of Joshimath witnessed the unprecedented cracks and fissures, as well as the panic that come in the mind of people. Those are local in the area of Joshimath, and they came up into the street and started protesting. So why this issue is something not of the only a political or administrative nature, but the something more, or science or geology and geography is also involved. So we'll try to understand this particular topic which is in the burning news. The location, first of all, we need to understand. Suppose if we are preparing for any exam, then obviously the examiner may be interested in asking the questions from the surrounding. So the area of Joshimath, if we look at this area, then this is the Joshimath hill station or hill town. First of all, this area come under the Garhwal region. So it is very important. Even UPSC and UPPCS exam, wherein they ask the question that the district of Chamoli or Joshimath or Nanda Devi are located in the Garhwal or Kumayu region. So it is located in Garhwal region. So first of all, it's a very important fact. Second, the surrounding area where we can see the Nanda Devi National. So this is very pristine national park that established in 1982. It is one of the World Heritage Site, UNESCO World Heritage Site. So it's this place or this particular park is of the global importance. The second, what we can see here, that the Joshimath, where we have know about the Panch Prayag, at this Panch Prayag of the Ganga river system, the Bhagirathi that that come up from the this particular area. We can see that the Doli Ganga river and the Bhagirathi. So both are Bhagirathi, which from the Satopant glacier. So it is important. Satopant glacier, the origin of Bhagirathi, of the head stream of river Ganga, Bhagirathi, and another we know the Alaknanda. So Alaknanda, Satopant glacier, the origin from the Alaknanda's origin is Satopant glacier, not a Bhagirathi. Bhagirathi, that's come from Gangotri. Is important. So Gangotri glacier, the origin of Bhagirathi, the head stream of river Ganga, and Alaknanda's head stream is Satopant. So this is important. So Doli Ganga and Alaknanda that meet near the Joshimath, which is also named as the the town of Joshimath, where Doli Ganga and Alaknanda, sorry, those meet near the Joshimath city. So it is a Joshimath. Okay, next, Alaknanda with Pindar or with Nandakini, that confluence is known as Nandprayag, and further Alaknanda with Pindar known as Kanprayag, and further Alaknanda with Mandakini is named as Rudraprayag. So further that continues, and Alaknanda and Bhagirathi, when that they meet near the Rishikesh, what we call Devprayag. So that is that these five confluences that name as the Devprayag, Rudraprayag, Kanprayag, Nandaprayag, and Joshimath. So these forms the Panch Prayag. So these are frequently in some exams, including in civil services, the examiner's tendency to ask these questions from this particular Prayag. So again, we need to understand this. So this is important, the locational idea about the Joshimath and surrounding. Okay. So next. So about Joshimath, as we have seen that Joshimath is one of the hill station, not for the just tourists, but for the religious significance also. This place is very important. Hill town, placed where Rishikesh Badrinath National Highway recently that is developed, one of the well developed national highway that connecting a Chamoli district that across the this particular Joshimath. So that another important thing is that Joshimath place serve as a transient city or tourist halting site or place where hotels or various accommodations and facilities are available, because beyond that Joshimath the region or areas very much tough, and at the same time also a protected areas like Nanda Devi National Park. So Joshimath is one of the last, or it's a gateway to the Nanda Devi National Park and various religious places of that area. Those are present in the this northeast part of the Uttarakhand. So Uttarakhand, we know that Devbhumi. So this is important. And the religious places like Hemkund Sahib, one of the revered place among the Sikh community, and they believe that 10th Guru Gobind Singh Ji, they once he came and meditated in that place. So that is Hemkund Sahib, and one of the tourist uh, favorite destination, as well as Badrinath, one of the religious place for the Hindus pilgrimage, part of that, and the Valley of Flower, one of the UNESCO World Heritage Site, as we have also talked earlier. That this is one of the very beautiful place in the Chamoli district, and it's worth visiting. So these all are to reach these places. Joshimath is one of the key area, or we can say that that is serve as the that place a gateway. Another important thing is Indian Army's cantonment is also that is also built and developed near about Joshimath. So it is also important for the strategic point of view. At the same time, this place present in geographic point of view in the seismic zone 5. So this seismic zone 5 will try to understand how seismic zones are given or distributed, or that is referred in India's map. Second, before that, get into that map of seismic zone. It travels, as we have discussed, that Vishnu Prayag. Joshimath is also named as Vishnu Prayag, and its confluence of this particular river, Dauli Ganga and Alaknanda. Okay. So this is what I am talking about, seismic zone area of India. So these zones, so red colored zone, some spot in the Jammu and Kashmir region, Kashmir Valley, Himachal Pradesh, the central part of Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand's northeast part of Uttarakhand, Bihar's northernmost part, boundary with the that Nepal country, and almost entire northeast part except Sikkim and the westernmost part of country, that is Bhuj part of Gujarat. These are the areas colored in the red set. These are the seismic zone 5. So seismic zone 5 are the highest vulnerability with respect to earthquake and seismic activity. So this is important. The other parts of this seismic zone areas are, we see the zone 4, zone 3, zone 2. So zone 4, we can see that even a capital, national capital New Delhi is situated in the zone 4. So zone 4 is not in point of geology not a safe area, so that we have frequently in the news we can see that in many time there are the seismicity or activities of earthquake Richter scale 2, 4 or 5 are generally tremors can be feel across even the region of Delhi. So that is that's why because the area falls under the seismic 4. So seismic zone 4 is high in seismic scale, that's why that is. If we try to understand through this map, the safest, not the any part of the country is safest, we can say or conclude through this map at least, but there are some considerable areas, those are can be considered as under the seismic zone 4. So seismic zone 4 that go from 2 to 5. So 2 is the least vulnerable area. So we can see the entire Malwa or Aravali area, Malwa, Bundelkhand. These are because of the lithology of the area, because metamorphic and igneous rocks, these complexes are there. Even Telangana Plateau region, Chhattisgarh Dandkarnia region, Odisha's this southern part, Malkangiri or Koraput Hills, and Chotnagpur region of this state of Jharkhand. So these are the areas, those are falls under the seismic zone 2. So they are comparatively more safer than other part of the country. So this is what we can understand the seismic zone or seismicities that may occur in country based on this map. And apart from that, we should also need to know that Andaman Nicobar falls under seismic zone 5. So they may formulate a question based on these seismic zones. So this will be helpful in the PT as well as in the mains. So it's important. As we have seen that country is our India, we are took initiative of that coalition of disaster resilient infrastructure. So CDRI is one of the initiative of India, wherein the idea of exchange of knowledges and technologies are expected, or that is optimized from that particular initiative, so that people can exchange their views and experiences with the other part of world where the same nature of vulnerabilities of nature or vagaries can be experienced, or that are also prevalent, like cyclone or any seismic. Okay, next on subsidence. Now there may be a different point of views, but here are some reports of government. Now it's not a new thing that Joshimath the first time experiencing nature's forces vagaries or nature's that curse, but that these kind of cracks are also experienced in the year 2021. The reports were there where Chamoli experienced a landslide and flooding, so that they also initiated, or they also had a cumulative effect that came as a tax. The state government formed an expert panel in year 2022 last year, and they tried to upload the different areas where these kind of things can be experienced. They highlighted that sinking is because of two reasons. One is man-made and another is natural factor. So a natural factor will try to understand later on, but if you see the man-made, so there are various allegations that the Dauli Ganga and Vishnugarh, that NTPC's hydropower project is one of the reasons, that factor behind that. The construction of a national highway that is from Rishikesh to Chamoli, that is named as an H7. So due to that, even this man-made is one of the factor because of that. And third, the deforestation, and fourth factor of this anthropogenic cause is due to the heavy urbanization of the areas around Joshimath, that may be for the commercial reason, like the construction of hotels or any tourist spots. So these are the man-made factors behind this Joshimath this subsidence issue. And the nature's factors are something, these are highlighted as the structural defects. So structural defects are the issue with the lithology of the area, and that is that with the removal or displacement of subsurface material. So what is this? We'll try to decipher that what these technical issues are there in terms of the geology. This is a Joshimath, and Joshimath city, Joshimath hill town, is present in between this main central thrust in the Himalayan region and the Valkrita thrust, that is another thrust, and here we can see the Tapovan fault is also there, and the Pandukeshwar thrust is also there. So what is thrust? Thrust is a geological term when any fault took place. Suppose this is any rock strata. Suppose any force, let's say earthquake or anybody or any activity, we can example. This is one of, and that picture like this, and another part. So this is A, this B part, A, and so A remain in the same part, remain, but the B part got uplifted. So this B part of the rock strata got uplifted. That is known as the thrust. So the term thrust, this is the feature of the fault. So thrust is something we have generally used for the thrust, like for the rocket launching thrust, or the any power or any external force, if applied on the any object, then it get pushed, or it get proceeded, so or launched. So the thrust means anything in the in terms of fault terminology, then it got uplifted, or from the place where it remain, it's used to be at the earlier. So this is the idea of the simple idea of the thrust. So why thrust are there? Because we know that the Himalaya is something a new fold mountain system. The origin of Himalaya is something new. So this part of Gondwana land and this part of Angara land, or Eurasian plate. So these are the different plates. Plates means tectonic plates. Susan Wilson give the idea of plates. Earlier used to be a single entity. Suppose this is, and the same that known as a Pangea, supercontinent, no devoid of any plates or fragmentation. But due to the convection forces, that fractures and faults that developed, and they started separating. One of that fault is Gondwana, and another part that fault from the Pangea, Eurasia or Angara land. So in between there was a Tethys Sea. So both plates tried to converge, but due to this tectonic forces, they developed this kind of folding system or faulting system, those later on known as the Himalaya. So it took about nearly about began with 70 million years before, and it took about 50 million years around, not exact, around 50 million years ago, Himalaya came into existence. So it's a very new in terms of in context of, if we try to understand through the geological time scale. So it's just about 50 million. That means 5 crore years earlier Himalaya came into existence. And but the that process that began around 70 million years. So that's why these folding and faulting that started taking place, and still that is continuing. So these Joshimath obviously lies in the Himalaya region. So obviously these the one of the major thrusting areas are known as the main central thrust, so MCT, and other are minor thrusts. So upon among them Tapovan fault or Balkrita thrust, or these are the different thrust areas. So this is not a new thing in if we try to understand through geology, but it's bound to happen because of the excessive that striking between Angara land and Gondwana land. So Joshimath lies among these areas. So obviously these kind of things are very expected, or these are obvious through the, if we talk about the geology of the area. Now next, 1976, what the government have done till so far, that in the year 1976 Mishra committee report that came in, they tabled on the Joshimath settlement, and they opined this particular Mishra committee. They said that this Joshimath lies upon the alluvium deposit. Alluvium deposits are the deposits, or that are the area which developed on the sediments or debris, those eroded and those come down from the due to cutting, landsliding, flooding of the mountain area, and they actually made the area. So that might be in a depression, and so in this accumulation or deposition that is known as the alluvium deposit because of the water accumulation or due to river cutting, and wherein Joshimath is situated. Here is the so this is some, and due to the ancient landslide that is referring to the ancient means in the geological history. Okay, and at the same time also river currents of Alaknanda and the Aligangas are also playing there. So how it these are playing the role? Suppose these Joshimath, and these are the area underneath or under material wherein Joshimath city is present. These are the habitations. Okay. These are, and suppose here Alaknanda river, here Doli Ganga river are both are confluencing here. So obviously the head erosion is something which try to cut or erode the rocks or any strata in front of come in front of that flow. So obviously it may continually hitting the underneath or the submaterial of this town, wherein above that this town is settled. So obviously that also playing a role. So this was a highlight of the Misra Committee report 1976, and that also bringing the landslide. And committee recommended restrictions be placed on heavy construction, blasting, digging, felling of trees. So even at that point of time in 1976, highlighted and tried to caution through the report that there is high time or need of restricting the human activities in this, but part of that because of the developmental mandates or needs of the human, we can say that overall overwhelmed the balance between nature. So this is something, but actually maybe one of the cause of concern that is still lingering, including the people. So this is the entire topic and the surroundings of the topic, which may be very much needed or well prior to the exam or prior to the exam. So before concluding, I would like to quote the Wangari Maathai, the green list of the global this Greenpeace organization working for the environment's betterment and people and environment centric activities. He according to Wangari Maathai, that environment and the economy are the really both two sides of the same. If we cannot sustain the environment, we cannot sustain. So Masses is very clear that human activity is need to be in balance with the nature's forces, so that we need to believe in the idea of the golden mean path or stop and go, as put provided by the David Taylor, one of the geographer, that we should first of all try to assess our need and then try to exploit the earth's resources or the ecological balance only up to that extent when it is not going to harm or it's not going to hurt back to us. So that is needed in this high time, or in this, that maybe the people of now today Joshimath, they are affected, that these kind of issues also that we are not isolated with these vulnerabilities, so we cannot just be a passive or passive onlookers or passive people. We need to take our initiatives. We need to become active people with hand in hand. So with this, I thank you.